I'm just elbow crawling through the kitchen like a real sneak. And he would be over around here, a page would be loading because that's when he'd hit them chips. So he's just, he's mobbing into these tostitos, and I'm just elbow crawling towards that refrigerator, and him eating the Tostitos are making me so much hungrier. Oh my God. Every one he put into his mouth was just making me hungry. And also knowing that there was pornography on the computer was making me, feel kind of time. It's March 12th and it's daylight savings time, man. Did you feel that? What a friggin' speed bump that is, huh? You got regular life going on. Everything's chill. Maybe you and the lady got a plan to do a little dirty game of close freeze tag with each other. A little frickin' bang, 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 bang. And then suddenly you realize, I got one less hour of sleep coming at me. And for me, man, my entire world falls apart. Everything fell apart. I went and bought cigarettes. I bought one of them things of, those pudding packs, them snack packs they got. I bought one of them chocolatey hitters, bruh. One of them 6-pack of chocolatey, Jello children's snack packs. And so, dude, I'm cracking into those and, blowing Winston's. And I'm just going through it all. And now I'm so angry. Here, the crazy thing was I was so angry that I'm not going to get an hour of sleep, that now I'm too angry to go to sleep. So I was just, And then here's what I'll do. I'll get angry and I'll be like, okay, world. Okay, world, you're going to take away an hour of sleep? Guess what? I'm not going to brush my teeth tonight. That's this weird game that goes on in my head, Like, okay, universe. You don't want daddy to get that extra big 60 of nighty night? Then I'm not going to brush my teeth. You'll see how I'm going to wake up. I'm going to wake up straight up just spraying that Grim Reaper heat right at people's eyeballs. But that's it, like the world gives a fuck that I'm going to do that. The world doesn't care, bruh. Go to bed, you idiot. But not me, man. I gotta get angry and get crooked. So then I'm bent out. Now I'm bent out and I've smoked 9 Winstons and blew through 5 of them kitty snackers. And now I'm a creep. Now now the neighbors are and they have these people who have a balcony that's kind of over from mine on the 3rd floor, and they always look down on me. And it's weird because since they do like physically look down on me, it feels like they also look down on me, emotionally and, subjectively, I think. I don't know if those are the right 2 words to use there, but guess what? You know what I'm talking about, So let's don't get on each other's backs about all these words. But I feel like they looked down on me, and last night, man, the lady caught me, man. The lady caught me out there just leaking with emotion, just bent out, just freaking, just heavy huffing these Winston cigarettes and blowing through them, that chocolatey 6. So yeah, I mean, I don't fare well with change, obviously, up front I don't, but in the end, I know it's what's best. I know change is always the best, man. I know it's scary, but, change is scary, but I think it's always the best. I was thinking about, because, this morning I got up. I didn't get up till probably 11:30, because I didn't even get to bed till probably 3:40, in sheer fury. And I didn't brush my teeth, even though it just affects me when I do that shit. But whatever, bro. So anyway, I was bent out. I made it into the day. And then I started remembering, I remember back when I was young, they had, I used to live with a family when I was young. And I lived with a couple of families, and one of them, the daddy got, he'd wake up in the middle of the night and eat Tostitos chips and do some adult masturbation on the computer. And that's when families usually just had a family computer, remember? And sometimes I'd go out there and try to sneak out there to get a snack, because the family computer was out there in the kitchen, and they had a comfortable home, and they had, a family computer out there that was kind of in this, big room near the kitchen, and the daddy be over there, breaking himself down, just treating himself like a champ, just patting himself on just patting his penis on the back, you know what I'm saying? And so I would try, but I would want that snack, because when you wake up at night, there's very little, if you want a snack, once you get that word snack in your head, there's very little that will suffice. It's like, you gotta have that snack. And you think, oh, I could just have 2 glasses of water and try to trick my stomach. But no. But if you lay awake like another 2 or 3 minutes, it is snack only. And so that's where I was. I was in snack fucking only mode. And so now I got to get a snack, right? And I remember going out there, and the daddy sometime would be out there, and he'd be doing self-pleasure. And look, I don't think that's crazy. A lot of people, I think it's crazy if if an adult is to go towards children masturbating, if somebody comes at running at me and they're jerking off at the same time, I'm gonna fucking kick them in the neck, dude. Okay? I'm gonna chop them down. And I got an axe, bro. I'm about to cherry tree that cat like the first president, baby. You know what I'm saying? I'm chopping them down. If somebody comes running at me and is masturbating at the same time, they're out. Even though also I do feel like, now that I mention that should be an Asian Olympic sport. You telling me, okay, be honest. And it doesn't even have to be Asian, but this is something that would start off probably in Japan. Jerking off, running and jerking off at the same time, right? You got to hit the finish line and bust out. That is, if that ain't the next Bellator, if they don't expand into a new realm, that's the new professional bull riding right there, doing that. But anyhow, what I was saying was that, so then it would be this crazy game. I had to sneak over to the fridge and get in that fridge without making the dad turn his back, because he was on the internet on early pornography. This was early pornography. This is when shit was loading and you had to relax, and he'd have some Tostitos and a little bit of salsa out there, and so he's just hitting, he's taking each one of these Tostitos and just mobbing into that salsa, and then he's just grilling, and the whole time I'm fucking like kind of crawling towards, because if he looks across the room, he can't see me because there are counters. But if I stand up, he can see me get in the fridge. So I'm just like elbow crawling through the freaking kitchen. I'm just elbow crawling through the kitchen like a real sneak. And he would be over there on here, a page would be loading, because that's when he'd hit them chips. So he's just, he's mobbing into these Tostitos, and I'm just elbow crawling towards that refrigerator, and him eating the Tostitos are making me so much hungrier. Oh my God. Every one he put into his mouth was just making me hungry. And also knowing that there was pornography on the computer was making me, feel kind of flush in my crotch. So, I'm going through a lot. And all I wanted was a snack. Like originally when I left the room, they let me stay in a bedroom at their home. When I left the room, I was chill. But once I hit the kitchen, I saw the glow of that computer in the distance. I knew Daddy was over there popping. Then that means I had to, I had to sneak up to the fridge. Now, some of you guys are already wondering, well, once you hit the fridge, you're going to open the door and the light's going to come out. He's going to see the light. You're right. But here's the thing about some fridges. Some fridges, they have if you open the door a little bit, you can sneak your hand in there and push that little lever. Because there's a little lever that the door pushes against, and that's what turns the light on and off. It's just a lever, just like a push lever. And so when that door, if you're careful and you slowly move the door up, you can get your hand up there to hold that lever and keep the light out. So that was my saving grace, man. So I'm fucking, I got that door open just a touch. I hit that thing. I hit the lever. I'm safe from the light. I got that door open. And then I hear the chips stop. And I'm like, fuck. But then I hear the chips kind of start up again. And I'm like, oh, must have been an ad popped up, that he had to close or something. So now, man, I'm getting more and more robust, thinking about the crotch, because I'm thinking about pornography. And when you're young and this was high school. Excuse me, I'm having a little coffee, if you hear me. But in high school, man, if you start thinking about pornography, your dick turns into a dang rudder. This thing, I could have dragged this thing through the dirt and hoed 100 yards of field. This thing I could have tilled soil with this rudder I was jacking back then, because I was dick heavy back then. And anyhow, so now I'm kind of in the fridge, but it's dark. It's kind of dark on that side of this room, this big room, because it's the kitchen and then it goes out into the dining room. It's all one big open space. These people had a little bit of cash on them. And so now I'm trying to get in that refrigerator, but the thing is, these people had a little bit of money. And when you got a little bit of money, if you ever been in a rich person's refrigerator, they ain't got shit. Here's what they got. They got a little thing of like summer sausage, fancy summer sausage from somewhere, Italy or somewhere else. They have olives, bruh, 6 or 7 jars of olives. They had I remember they had a wine opener in the fridge, but no wine in there. Like, what the fuck, dude? You got to have money if you keep an opener in the fridge. What else? They had some fancy cheese on a board, but that kind of cheese that if you're from where I'm from, you don't eat that kind of cheese. That cheese feels like a trap the second you taste it. It feels like you're sucking on the tit of like somebody's body is full of science experiments. That's what it feels like if you eat some of them fancy cheese. Brigadier and what else? They had Jolay, different kind of cheeses, rare cheddar. And so anyway, I'm fucking trying to get this shit, dude. And then I hear the daddy starts chirping on himself. And I'm trying not to hear this shit, man. Because I don't mind. Look, man, yes, the man was older than me. That's fine, but we're still men. You know what I'm saying? At that point, I masturbate as well. So it's not like, I don't know the mean streets of body sounds. You know what I'm saying? I've been out there. So, but I'm trying to fill my belly, dude. And you have no idea, man, how hard it is to bro, I had a mouthful of olives, right? And this dude starts getting into it. And it's so hard to eat olives, bro, while somebody else is jerking off. And it's, and I just remember having that. What else? They would have asparagus in there, but they always had it under this foil. They had like one of them glassware, a big casserole dish, and then foil, and it was just asparagus. So that foil, man, even though you don't think it makes a loud noise, when it's the only noise in town in the middle of the night, it's loud. So you got to carefully lift that foil and then ease your hand in that pan and get you one of them asparagus, one of them. And then you got to slurp that sucker, dude. So now, I remember at one point I had 2 asparagus in my mouth, and this dude's across the room, working that inverse ice, working that iceberg, bro, working that meaty iceberg. And I mean, it's hard to eat asparagus while somebody is also masturbating in the distance. And so it was,